Hey guys, I don't know what this means, if anything, but I just wanted to show you. Um, in that vision that I had, of the Asian guy giving me that instrument and telling him, or actually he didn't give it to me, he was holding it himself, and he was pointing it at the scroll. And it sort of looked like this. I mean, except it was square. It was square, and the needle was longer. It was probably twice that length. It went down to like maybe here. It was longer, but it looked. I mean, this is an old record needle. That's what this picture is. But it looked like that. I mean, it was like. Sorry about the background noise. It was It looked like this in the sense that it was a very like. It was an obvious instrument of some type. You know, it was very technical. Like it wasn't a toy or anything. Except, like I said, it was square. And the weird thing is that the instrument that he used to point at the scroll, which was the time, the scroll represented time. It looked like this. It looked like the calendar that we have, like our events, the events that have happened. Like, for example, Elenin, eclipse of sun here, Feast of Trumpets was here, Day of Atonement was here, Tabernacles, Herald Camping thing. Elenin was closest to the Earth here. The world population reached 7 billion here. And this was the fulfillment of the vision that Jesus showed me. If you are not familiar, he showed me a vision of the early snowstorm, and it happened here. If you want to see that, you can go back and look. I uploaded the vision on October 13th, but he showed me a vision of the early snowstorm, and that was the fulfillment right here on the 28th. And that was also the 20-year anniversary of the 1991 perfect storm, which was a hurricane. And then you keep going into November, and then you have YU55 and all that stuff, 40 days after the Virgo sign. And then you have Elenin, the next Elenin alignment, which is actually the inside alignment. So this alignment right here is different from the one we had on the 26th. This alignment is more similar to the alignment we had on March 11th, because Earth will be on the inside of the alignment, whereas on September 26th, Earth was on the outside of the alignment. Anyway, I just think that's interesting that the shape of these events on the calendar itself form like an 11, but then they form like this. They form the exact shape that guy was old man was holding in his hand, that instrument. You know, it was like this, except it was, like I said, it was square, and it had this long needle, and the needle was longer. And I mean, that's the same shape. It's so weird. Exactly like that. And then it had a long needle. And so what I'm thinking is, now this is weird too, and I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but back in like April, an angel showed me, a female angel showed me the number 14. And I have no idea what it meant, because I really just don't even have any idea what any of this stuff means. I just try to figure it out. A lot of times I'm wrong. But she did show me, and I was, you know, pretty sure that I saw it fairly clearly. Sometimes I don't see it clearly. But that time I was pretty sure. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that was a 14. And it was like a calendar date. It was like she was showing me like a calendar date with the 14 on it. Which well, coincidentally, today's the 14th too. But I just think it's interesting because look, it aligns with the other stuff. See? It aligns with that whole thing, and that makes the shape of the needle, or that it makes the shape of that instrument, that square thing that he was using. And see, then the needle comes down, and then there's December 14th. I don't know. I just I'm started trying to figure this out. I'm really sick of it, but I just think it's weird. And then the other thing is, that's not it. The other thing is the JPLs of YU55 and Elenin when they were aligned on September 11th. And here's the thing, okay? Like, we know they were lying about Elenin, and we also know they were lying about YU55. We caught them in several lies. Not only that, the odds, according to Richard Hoagland, of all this stuff being coincidence is billions to one. It's not coincidence, and we know that they lied about it. So something's going on here. I don't know what, but these objects are not, these events are not real. They're faked, okay? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm just going to point this out. So on September 11th, YU55 was supposedly just perfectly aligned with Elenin on September 11th. They both reached perihelion on that day. That's why I choose the September 11th, because that's the day that Elenin reached perihelion. And that's also the date YU55. So if you look at that, YU55 is close to Venus's orbit. See, there's Venus. Here's the orbit. And Elenin is aligned with YU55 on close to Mercury's orbit. Well, if you look at the calendar, you have YU55 and the next Elenin alignment on the inside. Like, if you were to think this was, like, if the sun was down here, which incidentally, December, and this is kind of, I mean, I don't know, guys. I'm honestly, I'm just probably as sick of this as you are, but I can't help it. As you guys know, the winter solstice is right about here, I think, December 21st. And then 3 days later, the sun rises. That was that whole, that's the whole, that's not the Christian thing. That's like the Babylonian religion, right? So I don't know. I think this is just weird, and I feel like, there's a reason why Jesus let that angel take me to that old Asian man. There's a reason for that, okay? I don't know why, but he had an instrument that was shaped like a square, and it had a long needle at the end. A long needle at the end. See, and I just think it's weird. Here's the winter solstice, and right here was that one angel told me, or showed me, the number 14. So I'm just, I don't know. But there's a lot of significant stuff happening in these three months here, October, November, December. I mean, St. John's vision appears in the sky. That doesn't happen again for another 100 years. Elenin eclipsed the sun. Elenin was closest to Earth. We all know the coincidences about Elenin. The world population equaled 7 billion. I mean, that 7 is a significant biblical number. We had the Day of Atonement, we had Feast of Tabernacles, Harold Camping had his prediction here, and then the vision Jesus showed me was fulfilled right here. And then, or one of the visions, several of them have been fulfilled. And then, and then of course the birth of Saturn was like, see, I numbered these, I did a countdown from the Virgo sign, as you can see. Like, here's St. John's Virgo sign, and then I went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the birth of Saturn was 0. That's not really, doesn't really matter. It's just a thing I did, but that's what that means in case you're wondering. Because then I did it over here too with the eclipse. I did 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 0. World population equals 7 billion. You know, and then again, the YU55 on the outside, Elenin on the inside, and then the sun here. You know what I mean? Like in the diagram in the JPL. You have YU55 on the outside near Venus. You have Elenin on the inside close to the, and then the sun. And you know, YU55 on the outside, Elenin, the next alignment. Like I said, this is the same type of alignment that we had on March 11th. It's not the same as the September 26th. It's the same as March 11th, this alignment. But, you know, I don't know. I'm not saying, I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas here. I don't know what's going to happen. But, and I don't even think, I don't know. Here's my thought, though. Here's my thought is, I don't think Elenin caused that earthquake. Because if it was a dwarf star or neutron star, I mean, we would have known when it came closest to the Earth. So I don't think it was Elenin. But I think Elenin is fake. I think YU55 is fake. And I think possibly it is a warning of what's going to happen, possibly something that's going to happen here, or here on one of these dates. That's what I'm thinking, because there's a reason why Jesus let that angel take me to see that Asian guy, the priest or whatever, who had that instrument. There's a reason he let me see that instrument. And I think, you know, possibly one of these days, the 28th, the 21st, the 14th, the 7th, the 30th, the 23rd, because that was, the long needle went way down like that. So I don't know, you know, it might be like a secret that they have that nobody knows about, this instrument, because I tried to find that instrument online. Somebody told me it was a seismograph. It's not a seismograph. It doesn't look anything like a seismograph. The closest thing I could find was this, which is, but this is a record needle, an old record needle. But like I said, the instrument was not round. It was square. It was square like that. So I just wonder if maybe that's like a secret instrument that they use that nobody knows about, really, that common people don't know about, but that, you know, if you're an elitist, you would know about it, and you'd be able to see the pattern in the calendar or something. I don't know. I have no idea. But I just think it's interesting, though, that the calendar does form this pattern. And with Elenin and YU55 and the Virgo and the sign in the sky, the sign in the heavens from St. John, and the world population, just all that stuff. The anniversary of the Kennedy assassination. And then there's just one other thing I wanted to show you. And that is, Jesus showed me another vision, just really quick, I'll try to tell you. He showed me, it was nighttime, I was facing the north. He showed me an object shooting around, coming from the left to the right, shooting around behind the earth and then back out again. That basically could be anywhere in the revolution around the sun. But in the position where we are now, it would mean the object would be coming from out here and shooting around this way. And this out here is where Elenin came in from. So, just thoughts. I don't know what's going to happen, but just some thoughts that I'm having that I wanted to share with you guys. Peace out.